meeting. I'll call to order the meeting September 21st, 2022 acquisitions meeting. Do we have any changes or additions to the minutes or corrections to March minutes? Anyone? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for March?
So moved.
Oh, thank you, Victoria. And a second.
Brenda.
Brenda.
Okay, great. Thanks, Brenda. Yeah, I've got to pay attention to the chat.
I'm looking at it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, and is there any additions to the agenda? Anybody have any additions? Okay. No additions. All right, we'll just move on to officer reports. And I'm Sandy, and I don't have any at this time. But does anybody else, the vice chair or Kelly, Victoria?
I don't have anything
this morning either.
Okay, great. All right, then we'll move on to staff reports, and I will turn it over to Rachel.
Good morning, everyone. The full text of my staff report can be found in the packet that I emailed to the listserv on Friday. I will provide a brief summary of the report today. Training for LEAP 7.2 has been rescheduled for Wednesday, September 28th at 11 a.m. If you have not registered, feel free to still register for it on the L2 website. The training server will be upgraded to 7.3 on October 3rd. This will include manual acquisition functions and the ability to overlay bibliographic records. I will inform you when we schedule the production upgrade. CCS staff have created new listserv guidelines. Please review them on the CCS webpage. The link is in the packet. Last week, I completed a new webpage with instructions for ASN in the client. The link to the page is also in the packet. The report also includes links to information on the diversity audit tool for you to review if you're interested. Are there any questions on my staff report?
I was muted. Any questions? Sorry.
I don't see anything coming up in the chat.
Okay. Thanks, Rachel. We can move on to the business, and I will turn it over to Rachel, the rapid receipt tip.
Lee recently sent me a tip for improving the rapid receipt workflow. I've updated the instructions to reflect this new workflow. It's more efficient, and so I'm going to demonstrate it today. I will need to use the images that Leigh sent me in my presentation because my permissions function differently than staff permission levels. So if I were to show you how to do it live, it would not look the same as what you see on your screen. Rapid receipt is an efficient workflow for receiving and invoicing at the same time. To do so, you need to create the new invoice first, then press this go icon in the toolbar of your invoice. Originally, the CCS instructions described how to search for the ISBN or title using the confirm PO line section that you see here in the rapid receipt dialog box. However, when you do so, the find tool displays everyone's purchase orders and not just yours. So you would have to scroll through the whole list to find your correct purchase order. However, if you use this Find PO Line section and press Find to access the Find tool, if you need to search for the ISBN, it is a more efficient process. This will open the Find tool, and when you type in your ISBN or title, it will only show you your library's POs. So you don't have to scroll through that whole list. So I have updated the instructions with those steps instead of using that bottom section. Are there any questions about rapid receipt?
Doesn't look like anybody has a question.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the 979 ISBN issue. I recently reported an issue to the acquisitions listserv regarding the 13-digit ISBNs that begin with 979. Some suppliers derive a 10-digit ISBN number to be output to the records that have a letter at the end other than X. This is not a real ISBN. And this example, it is a J at the end. I've also seen some other letters, but X is a normal letter to find in the ISBN. So, and it's not including the ones that end in X. When the 10-digit ISBN is sent to suppliers via EDI, the matching process may malfunction and match to the wrong title. So I recommend checking your records for the 10-digit ISBN that ends in a letter other than X and switching to the 13-digit ISBN that begins with 979. You can quickly identify these records by scrolling through the PO. If you do see an X, this is a normal ISBN. You will not have a problem with those. So you can see that as you scroll through here, I've highlighted this one that ends in J. So that would be the one that you would need to switch to the 979 ISBN. I have been in contact with Baker and Taylor's tech support department about this issue, but not Ingram's. Baker and Taylor has plans to correct the issue, but I don't know when this will happen. You do have the option to contact your suppliers to update your cataloging profile for your on-order records. And there are two different options that you can choose from to update your cataloging profile. One is to not output the ISBN 10 associated with the ISBN 13s that begin with 979. And the other is to output the ISBN 10 before the ISBN 13 so that Polaris will choose that ISBN 13. It always chooses the one that's on the bottom. Are there any questions?
Would there be any problem from with removing that ISBN from the record, from the bib record?
No, there's no problem with removing it from the bib record. It's actually not a real ISBN. For some reason, they derived it, and I'm not sure why they chose to do it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Rachel.
Sure.
Okay. Did anybody have any questions for Rachel? Okay, otherwise we will go on to discussions and multi-volume graphic novel bibliographic records for and lay. I'll turn it over to you. Is Lay with us today? I thought I saw. I thought I saw.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, now I can.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You know what? Can I just go back to, I had a question for Rachel. My mic wasn't
Sure.
working earlier. So is that import profile then over with the ISBN 10 and the ISBN 13, does it override it or no? If in import profile, if we download the MARC record?
The import profiles that retain the O2Os will retain all O2Os.
Okay, so then I would still have to check then to make sure that the ISBN 10 ends in an X, or and if it's any other letter.
Yes,
Manually.
so
Okay.
you have the choice to just manually check it on your own, or you can contact your vendor to see if they can remove the ISBN 10 from your catalog record before it's downloaded from Title Source 360 if you have Baker and Taylor. I'm not sure about Ingram. I know we've had problems specifically with Baker and Taylor's records, having that 10-digit ISBN in there, but I'm not sure if they're also coming from Ingram. So you would have to contact Ingram to ask them how they're handling that ISBN.
Okay, thank you. With the multi-volume graphic novel, I guess my biggest question is on how other library handles it. If there's like multi-volume, it's a multi-volume bit record. Like for example, if you're pre-ordering a Pokemon book, graphic novel, and there's a new volume that's coming out. When you order it, how do you know it's a multi-volume? And that was my first question. And the second is, do you guys just create a preliminary record for it first, or do you go ahead and put the ISBN new volume into the multi-volume bit record? So I guess my question is, who does that? Is that the first person who pre-orders it, or how does it handle with CCS since there's so many of us?
For us at Indian Trails, we have, when we're importing the brief mark record, it usually is a problem because it sees that there's other the other ISBNs are in there for the other volumes. So sometimes we have to go in and create a new segment so that it doesn't reorder another volume. But we just normally put it in as an on order within all of those other volumes. We don't create a separate on order record.
But if the ISBN is not out there yet on the multi-volume bit record, and when you import that on order, it creates a separate bit record. So do you guys check that to make sure that
Yeah, we do, to make sure that we're not going to get a copy of, for some reason, when we import from Baker and Taylor, for some reason, sometimes it doesn't recognize that it's a new one. And so it won't, it'll put like, I don't know how to explain it. It'll put like you want to order 2 copies of something when really you wanted to order one of one volume and one of another volume. I'm assuming that happens at a lot of libraries. I don't know.
Yeah, Kelly, the reason that happens is because when you're importing the record, it just pulls from whatever that last O2O line is. So
Right,
you have to do it yourself. So
correct. Yeah,
There-
and that's
there
how I
used to-
was taught. Yeah,
there used to be a workaround that you could kind of be able to make it think it was different, but that doesn't work after a couple updates ago. Now that doesn't, so you have to go through manually.
yeah. Otherwise, what we do is sometimes I'll have the selector just do a separate purchase order. If he's ordering, like multiple volumes of some of the same series, I'll have him create, it's a lot of work, but I'll have him create separate purchase orders and just send them individually. And sometimes that seems to work. It doesn't it recognizes it, then it doesn't think that we're trying to order multiple copies of one volume.
So technically then, if it's a new volume and it's not out there, so libraries that order the graphic novels will go into that bit record then and should put in the new volume.
I do that, Lay, when I'm ordering new copies of volume 2, 3, 4, and I'm searching for the record. I do that on the multi-volume. I just put in the new ISBN with the volume, because also for holds, it's and I'll even create a barcode for the item, and I'll put in the volume number, but I do also add the ISBN and on the record, the bid record on the multi-volume, just so it makes it much clear for even patrons to find and everything. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, it does. And I guess the reason I brought this question up, because I did run across a few issues where I was finding that it's a pre-order book that I ordered, and it's actually supposed to be on a multi-volume record, but there was an individual record for it.
Oh, okay.
There
Seems
is
like-
a description of a couple of options on the acquisitions FAQ page. It's kind of hard to
Mhm.
find because there's just a lot of questions on the page.
It seems like the two main approaches are either people leave that one, then like it's volume 5 of something, everyone puts it onto volume 5, and that's fine. And then whenever it comes in, you make sure it's the same, and then you attach it to the multi-volume. Or some people will go in and attach it right away to that multi-volume. It's like if it's like Naruto number 73, it's going to be on that it's not a new thing. It's the same.
Right.
That's safe. It's like if it's volume 2 through 3, I tend to leave it on its own just to make sure that it's actually supposed to be a multi-volume. But when you start getting into the double-digit volume numbers, I think usually most people think it's a safe bet that it belongs on the multi-volume record.
Well, Brett, was that Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my problem with if we leave a book that's supposed to be on a multi-volume on its own record, and then someone puts a hold on it, wouldn't that cause an issue?
I think what some acquisition staff are doing is to merge the duplicates right after they create the PO, so that the separate volume is then on the multi-volume set record. But I'm wondering if this will cause any problems for EDI orders if the bibliographic record ID changes, but I'm not sure.
We order a lot of graphic novels heavily, and once we figured out, like where to put them, and like to put them with the rest of the multi-volumes, we haven't had any problems getting the wrong book to come in. It's not like we ordered volume 25 and we got volume 5 in or something like that. We haven't had any problems at all getting the correct volume that we ordered. So I don't know if that's.
Once you submit your order to send it to the vendor, that can change and it doesn't affect your EDI at all. Like it's all fine. Like if theoretically, if someone's changing it right when you're sending it, it could theoretically cause a problem, but the chances of that I've never really actually had that. I think I've had it happen once in 4 years. So it could happen, but once you actually send it, it can change. Like I mean, I've had it where somebody accidentally overlaid a record, and then I have my PO is totally different than what I actually sent to the vendor. Like I sent the correct thing, it got overlain, and my PO shows something different,
Mhm.
but it didn't actually affect what was actually ordered at all. So it shouldn't affect the EDI ordering.
So Rachel, I got a question for CCS regarding this. So if I come across a multi-volume bit record and then I see another duplicate record out there for, let's say, a new volume 25 that's been pre-ordered, that's coming out soon, can I merge it then?
Yes, you can merge it. You can merge as many records as you want to merge.
Do I need to let that other library know that I merged it?
No,
Because okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Lay. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly. How are libraries handling Baker and Taylor EDI orders while the EDI system is down? And
Right, which when I submitted that, we were still down. So I just wondered if, at this point, if anybody's still having problems, because once they came back up, we still were in contact with them for at least a couple of weeks, still trying to get, we weren't, like invoices weren't loaded, records weren't loaded between August 11th and August 30th. So we had to send them a list of records that we needed. And then we were getting shipments in with no invoices, and the invoice wasn't even in the system. We had to wait, communicate with them. And once they had them in the system, then they could let us know and, send us a copy. So I just wondered if anybody else is still having, any issues with that whole thing. That was it. Stephanie said, we still don't have invoices despite multiple requests. Jessica from Wilmette said same here. Yeah, it took us, I think we finally got our last two that we were waiting for yesterday.
The ones that during the time they were down, they weren't actually loaded as an ASN receiving, and the invoices were in the system. Since we only had a couple, because we only get our adult nonfiction from B&T, I just did them manually because they weren't. I mean, the invoices were in their system, but they didn't actually send them that way. So it wasn't that bad. But for people who get all their stuff, I know that it would be a nightmare for waiting for all of them.
That's us. Yeah, that's us. We're also, CLS. So that made it a little rough too, not having all those records for a little over 2 weeks. We had the stuff sitting here, but we had no records. So finally, as of yesterday, I think we're all straightened out on our end.
one suggestion I had, you may not need to do this now, but if it happens again, is to change the EDI invoice setting to not automatically update the items to received. And then you'd be able to potentially just receive and process everything, but create the invoices later.
Yeah, that's what we did was, Mary did, when we got in our fan club stuff, we didn't want to sit on that. We wanted to get that out. So she just went ahead and, went PO by PO and received it so that we could keep that moving along. And then when the actual invoice was loaded into the system, then she went in and, paid it. She just received them and by PO by PO. And that's, that's a lot of work, but it's worth it instead of having Pattersons and, all of those books just sitting here waiting for the electronic invoice to come through. So we worked around it as best we could. So, but I think you just have to be persistent with them. We just, every couple of days, we would just reach out to them and say, we still don't have this, we still don't have this, and then they, you know, got them to us, so. Yeah, we put together a spreadsheet, and as they came in, we would mark these off so we could just go back to them and say, okay, we still don't have this, we still don't have these records. And they got them all to us, and like I said, it took till yesterday to get the last two.
Okay, thanks, Kelly. We did too. We are not EDI at Huntley, but we did also receive a few boxes that didn't have invoices. And so, and we did then finally receive one of our invoices, and the other one we still haven't. So we're just, but we kind of just, we just went ahead and pushed them through because they were, it was large print, and you know, and I was a Patterson and
Yes,
other titles. Yeah.
yeah, we don't want to leave those sitting on a cart waiting for the
No.
invoice to come through, just move them along.
That's right. Thank you. Okay. So then reminders of ISBNs in on order records, and I will turn it over to Rachel.
Okay, so I have a number of additional reminders that weren't on the agenda that came up at the last minute, but I'll start with the ISBN issue. The first is to please remove the ISBNs for formats that are not associated with the bibliographic record. STEM staff have reported finding the ebook ISBNs in the print records. So this can be a problem, especially if those ebook ISBNs are at the bottom. It will end up in your purchase orders. So please check that those have been removed. If you get supplier provided records, you can contact your suppliers to ask them to remove it from your cataloging profile so that they are not in the records. My next reminder is to please review the procedures for canceled publications. We have found a number of records for canceled publications recently that were labeled as canceled, but the acquisitions listserv was never informed. And so there's still a lot of item records and holds that need to be canceled and deleted. So I recently sent out a email with a record set, so please review that record set. My next reminder is to make sure that you call CCS whenever Polaris is down instead of opening a ticket. This will allow us to contact Innovative as soon as possible. This is especially important during non-working hours for CCS. The on-call staff do not monitor emails or tickets. They only monitor their phones. CCS staff will send out a message to the system status listserv when they receive a phone call that a problem has occurred. And if you have not received any of these system status messages in the past, please contact the help desk so that we can subscribe you to the system status listserv. If new acquisition staff have been hired, please make sure that you contact the help desk about adding them to the acquisitions listserv. It will help them to stay informed about meetings and canceled publications. Are there any questions?
Rachel, is there a list on CCS website where it has like names of individuals that we can contact directly instead of a listserv?
Yes, one moment, I'll show you that page. And I will send out the URL when I can get that up. There is an information page. So if you scroll down to the acquisitions selection under how to. Am I still sharing my screen? No.
No, I don't see anything.
Nothing's there.
Okay, so under how to, you can click on acquisitions. And then scroll down to the information section and click on technical services department information. This lists all the libraries and their technical services department email. So this is the three-letter code tech@ccslib.org, and this will be forwarded to their department.
That's great. Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, that's very helpful.
Very helpful.
Yes, I've had to do that multiple times when somebody's got a bib record open forever. So.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Any questions?
Rachel, the link
Yes.
you posted for the FAQ for the suggestions, when I click on it, I get page not found.
Let me take a look at that again. Okay, I posted the link again. If the link for some reason isn't working, it is on the acquisitions page under the first acquisitions item, right at the top. Or first acquisitions drop down. It's kind of like a drop down menu within the department page. Is that link working?
Yep.
Oh, great. Thank you, Rachel. That's great. Any more questions on that or comments? Okay. Okay, are there any announcements? Anything new happening at your library? Anything exciting? New? Anything?
I'll just say one thing that I'm sure some of you know what's going on at Niles. Secretary of State appointed someone and the 7th officer is being installed tonight. So that will break the stalemate we've had here for a while. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, thank you, Victoria. Good luck. Yeah. Anybody else?
I have one more question. When I look at the video, will I be able to see the links that you put in the chat? Or should I cut and paste that now?
In the description section of the video, I'll paste a link to the chat.
All right, perfect.
And
Oh,
we can also put the links in the minutes.
Oh,
Well,
that's great.
I'm doing the minutes, so I just want to make sure I have
Okay.
the link to put it in there.
That's great, Rachel. Thank you. That would be helpful. That would be so much. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay. If that is all for today, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
I second.
Okay, thank you so much, Lay. And our next meeting is March to be announced on location. We're not sure, but
It will be online.
will it be? Okay.
Yeah. We are doing all our meetings online this year.
Okay, so we will see you on Zoom again. Thank you so much for attending and for the questions and ideas. and really appreciate it. So thank you again.